A long time ago, in the land of Israel, the people were in big trouble. They had forgotten about God and started doing things their way. Because of this, God allowed a cruel king named Jabin to rule over them. King Jabin had a scary commander named Sisera, who led a huge army with 900 iron chariots, the strongest weapons of the time. The Israelites were helpless and afraid, and their lives were miserable. But God had not forgotten his people. He had a plan to rescue them, and he chose someone very special to help, a brave and wise woman named Deborah. Deborah wasn't like other leaders. She didn't wear armor or carry a sword. Instead, she was known for her wisdom and faith in God. Deborah was a prophetess, which means God spoke to her, and she told the people what he said. She was also a judge, helping people solve their problems and make decisions. Every day, Deborah would sit under a tall palm tree, known as the Palm of Deborah, and people from all over Israel would come to her for advice. One day, as Deborah sat under her palm tree, God gave her an important message. She called for a man named Barak, who was a leader in Israel's army. When Barak arrived, Deborah looked at him with confidence and she said, "Barak, the Lord, the God of Israel, has a mission for you. Gather 10,000 men and go to Mount Tabor. God will lead Sisera and his army to you, and he will give you victory." Barak listened to Deborah's words, but he felt nervous. He looked at Deborah and he said, "If you go with me, I will go. But if you don't go with me, I won't go." Deborah smiled and said, "I will go with you. But because of this, the honor of defeating Sisera will not go to you. Instead, the Lord will give the victory to a woman." Barak gathered his 10,000 soldiers and went to Mount Tabor, just as Deborah had said. When Sisera heard about Barak's army, he brought all his soldiers and iron chariots to the Kishon River, ready for battle. It looked like Sisera's army had the upper hand, but Deborah wasn't afraid. As the two armies faced each other, Deborah turned to Barak and she said, "Go now. This is the day the Lord has given Sisera into your hands. The Lord is going ahead of you." Barak and his soldiers charged down the mountain, and at that moment, something incredible happened. God caused a mighty storm to break out. Rain poured down, and the ground turned into sticky mud. Sisera's chariots, which were usually so strong and fast, got stuck in the mud and couldn't move. The soldiers panicked, and Barak's army defeated them. But Sisera, the commander, managed to escape on foot. Sisera ran and ran until he reached the tent of a woman named Jael. Jael saw him coming and stepped outside to greet him. "Come in, my lord. Don't be afraid. You can hide here." She gave him a blanket and a drink of milk to make him feel safe. Exhausted from the battle, Sisera lay down and fell into a deep sleep. But Jael knew that Sisera was an enemy of God's people. While he was sleeping, she took a tent peg and a hammer and drove the peg through his head, killing him. When Barak arrived looking for Sisera, Jael came out to meet him and she said, "Come, and I will show you the man you're looking for." And there was Sisera, defeated, just as Deborah had said. With Sisera gone, King Jabin's power was broken, and Israel was finally free. Deborah and Barak sang a song of praise to the Lord to celebrate this amazing victory. Because of Deborah's faith and courage, the land had peace for 40 years. Deborah's story shows us that God can use anyone, man or woman, to accomplish his plans. Deborah wasn't a warrior, but she trusted God and led her people with wisdom and faith. She inspired Barak to fight, and God gave her victory through the bravery of Barak and Jael.